Hey there everybody, Eric from Outer Limitless coming at you today with another video. Now as you can probably see, I'm right smack dab in the middle of building my office and video studio space. And at this time, I wanted to keep the channel moving on, and I thought I'd talk to you today about a nice little EDC folding blade that I've been carrying for a while now. The knife I'm going to show you is the Whisper from Kizlyar Supreme. Now this Whisper comes in multiple color combinations. In this particular case, I have it in the black with red combination. This is D2 tool steel. I have had multiple Kizlyar Supreme knives and multiple with the D2 tool steel, and I very much like it. It holds a great edge, it's very easy to sharpen, and I do like it quite a bit. So this particular model is D2. And the red liners are a milled G10. The other color combination, which is quite nice, is a black milled G10 with a stonewash finish on the blade. So two very nice looking color combinations. I do wish I could have gotten this with the red and the stonewash blade as a color combination. I think that would have been a perfect fit for this, but I can't really hold that against the knife. It is a very nice little EDC blade, and I like it just as much with the black finish on the blade. These Kizlyar Supreme knives are made in Russia, and like I said before, I've had a couple of them, and I've been very happy with each and every one that I've had. Total blade length on this knife is approximately 3.75 inches. Now when you talk about the blade shape, Kizlyar is calling this a traditional Japanese tanto style blade. Now I have to admit, I'm not the most up-to-date and understanding of traditional knife blade and sword blade styles. So if this is considered a traditional Japanese samurai or tanto style, then, you know, I'll have to go with Kizlyar and believe him on that. The only thing I can add to that is that, like probably many of you, I'm used to the tanto style being a little bit more like this, where it's a, a defined second grind that makes, a second point on the front of the blade. Basically, very defined and clear to see, where this Kizlyar is a little bit different. I mean, it looks to me like an upswept blade design with this one particular grind carrying all the way through to the tip. Now the milled G10 handle scales are absolutely beautiful. They are amazingly well made, excellent fit and finish, and when you look at how much space you have in here, it's nice to be able to clean the knife. They're very well contoured and shaped. Feels great in the hand, and that bit of traction that you get from that diamond pattern just feels really nice. Very interesting work here, how it's all milled and sculpted, and just the lines on this knife, in my opinion, are very, very nice. This knife has very fine little bolts holding it together, basically just screwing into the standoffs that hold these scales together. This knife does have a reasonably sized lanyard hole, although I typically don't have a lanyard on my folding blades, and at the same time I feel like it actually may just stick out a little bit if you had that deep ride carry in your pocket. It's close. Probably could tuck that lanyard right down inside your pocket. Probably never even know it was there. Nicely formed and carved G10 all the way around this blade. Just beautifully done. Nice details. Nice color scheme. Really cool looking knife. This knife has, in my opinion, one of the nicest clips that I've had on really any of my pocket knives. First and foremost, as many people do like a deep carry pocket clip, this is a very deep carry pocket clip. In fact, it gets the knife almost completely flush with your pocket. So in that regard, that is definitely a nice feature if that's what you're looking for. I could go either way. I don't necessarily care one way or another for a deep carry pocket clip. At least not with the intent to hide it in my pocket. I'm not really bashful about having a blade, and if I'm carrying it, I kind of don't really hide it or conceal it. But at the same time, what I can tell you is this clip just has a perfect amount of spring, and it has this nice piece on the front here to allow you really to find your pocket easily and get this thing clipped right onto your pocket. And so for me, you know, as much as anything else, the function of this is very, very nice. I really like the clip and it works quite well. The other aspect of the pocket clip that I very much like is just a little attention to detail. I mean, you know, this is sort of a traditional Japanese style and has some of the traditional Japanese artwork right on it. Now, according to Kizylar, this symbol is called a Japanese mon, or family crest. So it adds just another little hint of traditional Japanese culture and adds a little bit of interest to this clip. Now, one thing that may be a turnoff to some people is that this is basically only able to be set up as a tip-up right-handed carry. There are no additional holes to accept this pocket clip in any other configuration on this blade. Now, one of the things that took a little bit of getting used to for me is the thumb stud. And if you look here, you will notice that the thumb stud is quite close to these scales. And so at first for me, I was really confused about how to appropriately deploy the knife. I was really trying to apply pressure in the perpendicular direction to the blade, and it wasn't working very well. And at first I thought that these thumb studs were really a design flaw. You know, at first I really thought that it would have made a lot more sense to try to bring these thumb studs further down into the scalloped area to allow you to get a little bit better leverage on it. But I'll show you that after you get used to this blade, it is actually very easy and very butter smooth to deploy. So the more appropriate way to actually deploy the knife is to push in almost the vertical or parallel direction to the blade. And when you do that, it is very smooth, very quick and easy to deploy, and actually feels quite nice. Now again, just to show that just with a tiny little flick of the wrist and a nice push of the thumb, I mean, you really don't even need to flick your wrist at all. You just kind of push your thumb more in that vertical direction, and that blade just comes right out. Now when you take a look inside, you can actually see the bushings. They are a brass bushing, and you can also see that the lockup on this liner lock is quite positive. It makes its way basically to the middle of the blade, so you get a good quality lockup. There's no blade play whatsoever in this knife. It's nice and firm. Excellent little hinge, cool little design, nice brass liners, super smooth action, pretty sweet. Now right out of the box, this blade comes nice and sharp. I've been carrying this for a few months now, and so any of the potential damage that you'd see on there is from me and from my own abuse. But as I look down this blade, I really don't see anything of any substance. There may be just a tiny little bit of rolling on the edge there, but that's something I can take out with sharpening. It doesn't even look that bad. And so, you know, what I get a little bit confused about is when people talk about this being the original factory edge. I guess I don't know what that means. I mean, at this point, you know, I've never reprofiled this knife. I've stropped it and I've used ceramic rods to touch it up. But like I said, I've never actually reprofiled it. So I don't know if you can consider this to be the original factory edge, or if at the point of me sharpening it, I pretty much lost that status. But anyway, out of the box, this is quite sharp and has a really nice grind angle. So I think for an EDC purpose, this blade is just about perfect. Now, if I had to be at all critical, the only thing that I can say is, as far as an EDC blade, what I generally do with an EDC blade is open packages, cardboard boxes, things like that. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. And so the only downfall to this is with the slightly upswept blade. It's not quite as easy to quickly get into packages. You kind of need to rock the knife just a little bit more to find that angle and get that tip to do the work. But at the same time, it's definitely not detrimental to this knife's ability to be a quality EDC blade. And as I mentioned, this pocket clip is a very nice shape and makes it very easy to slide right inside your pocket. I like that deep ride carry. As you can see, the knife pretty much disappears. Very easy to get out, quick to deploy, and like I said, again, just definitely slides right into that pocket and pretty much disappears. So here you see the Whisper paired up next to an Ontario Rat 1. I mean, these are pretty close to roughly the same blade class in terms of the overall size and length, but what you can see quite clearly is that overall this Whisper is a nice and slim profile. It is very sleek compared to this Rat 1, and at the end of it all, the blade ends up being even just a little bit longer than the Rat 1, even though the overall total size is shorter. So in reality, it's nice to have a blade that has a nice sleek profile, this nice real thin sort of lines from the blade tip all the way down to the end of the handle. So it's a very nice, comfortable, compact, easy to handle blade that just kind of disappears and slides into your pocket with no problem. Now the Whisper comes packaged in a nice little box. Very nice presentation right off the get-go. You know, I think something that companies that are really serious about making nice products pay close attention to the details in their packaging. I mean, not because this package necessarily adds any additional value, but it just shows that companies are paying attention to the details. Now, opening this up, it is a little magnetized front, and it flips open. Inside, you end up with a warranty card and a little form-fit foam that holds the knife nice and firm in place. So alright guys, there you have it. A quick look at a beautiful little EDC folding blade from Kizlyar Supreme. For me, it's a great little EDC blade. I very much enjoy carrying this. I love the shape, the size, the features, the style, the quality. I very much enjoyed it. And I think this is a great blade for anybody looking for something in a similar size range or with similar features. And maybe if you just like that Japanese style, it'll appeal to you as well. So alright guys, thanks for stopping by. I hope you like what you saw. I hope you found it a little bit informative. If you like what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for stopping by. Take care now. I'll see you soon.